Hello, welcome to this tutorial. We're going to overview the Product Add Ons feature, which allows you to create free and paid custom options for all your products. Let's get started.
With this feature, you can create custom options for your products like this. Here we have a ring where customers can choose the color of the gold. This is created with the type of option called label or image. We have images to show what each type of gold looks like. They have other labels here where there are icons to choose the diamond shape. We have a drop-down menu to select more options. As you can see here, this option is $120 more. This one is $200, this one is $300, and so on. So not all options are free. Here there's an option to engrave the ring, and if I check this box, I get a text field to enter the text I want to engrave. And here's the total price box where I can see the main product price, the total options. Right now we have $47 extra for engraving the ring, and the total. And you can also create something like this. We have this MacBook with options to choose from. There's a display size also with labels. We have the storage, which is created with radio buttons. We have colors, which are created with color swatches. And as you can see, if I select a different color, the main product image changes. More options here. And we even have two products here, the AirPods and the stand, which are sold individually in the shop. But we also added them here as accessories to buy with this MacBook. Now let's go see how you can configure this feature and get a result like this. So you'll find a few sections where you can configure the feature. First, in Options block is where you can create all your custom options from scratch to show on your product pages. As you can see, there are already a few blocks created. Each one has its name. This is only for you to identify the block, the priority, where it is shown. As you can see, these blocks are shown on specific products. You can also enable or disable each block. You can edit, duplicate, delete, or move each block. As you can see, moving it changes the priority. It was just 2, now it's 3. Priority will be used only when more than one block is applied to the same product. In that case, the order of the blocks of options will depend on the priority level. 1 is the highest priority. Let's move it again. And now the priority is 6, below this one, which is 5. Duplicating it is super useful in case you need to create similar options but not the same for different products. In that case, you don't need to create each single option from scratch. You can just use the ones you have created and edit them to meet your needs. Here you can search blocks that are enabled or disabled. You can filter the blocks that are applied to specific products, and you can search for specific blocks. Now, to create a new block of options, you just have to click here on Add Block. You'll have to enter a name to identify the block, the priority level, which is so we can set the priority level by rearranging the order of the blocks, but you can also enter it here. This will define the order on product pages. You can decide where to show this block. We have all products or specific products or categories, and here you can enter the products and the categories. And you can decide who can see these options: all users, only guest users, logged in users, or specific user roles. And once you're done, you can start creating some options by clicking here on Add Option. And you'll find all these elements and options to choose from. First off, you have some HTML elements. These are not options, but you can use them in between options to have everything nicely separated, include text and headings. And then you have the actual options. You can add checkboxes, radio buttons, text fields where users can enter text, maybe to engrave a ring, to print on a t-shirt, and more. You have color swatches. You can choose any color swatches to show, like the ones we saw for the MacBook. Numbers, in case your customers need to enter numbers to customize the products you sell. You can also add drop-down menus, labels, or images. You can add existing products from the shop as options, like the AirPods we saw. You can add a date picker in case you want them to select a date when they want to receive the product or the service, for example. You can add a field where they can upload files. And you can add a color picker where they can choose the colors to customize their products. Now let's close this and let's go back to select one of the existing blocks. We're going to edit this t-shirt block right here. Let me show it to you. Okay, so this is the t-shirt and this is the block where we can choose the color of the shirt. Both these options are created with the label or image option. This is the image and this is the label where you can choose the size of the t-shirt. Then we have an upload field where users can upload their logos. Then a text field where they can enter a custom text. In this case, the custom text is $5 extra. And at the bottom, there's the total price box. Okay, so let's go ahead and edit this block of options. We're going to find it and click on edit. The name here is already set, also the priority level, where it is shown, which is only on this specific product. No products are excluded, no categories here. It is shown to all users. And here we have the 4 sets of options that are added to the product page. So we have the color, the size, the field to upload the logo, and the custom text. Let's go ahead and add an extra option where they can choose the color of this custom text. I'm going to click on add option. And for color, I could choose color swatch, but I don't want to create the color swatches they can choose. I want to add a color picker so they can choose any color they want. So I'm going to click on color picker. And the first thing we have to do is set a title to show before the options. So we're going to choose color. I'm going to be using this title in the card as well. We could add a description here if it had more than one option, but since it's only going to be one color picker, I'm going to skip this. And here we have the option itself. In the color picker, we can show a default color or a placeholder text, but let's do a default color and let's do black. This is the one they usually choose to put on their t-shirts. And we can add a label here. Let's do text color for this options label. We're going to use this in card as well, but if you want to, you could add a different label for the card. Let's enter a tooltip and a description. You can enable this option and add an image here. I'm not going to do this. Here we have the pricing options. We can create an option that is completely free. We can create an option that increases the main product's price, and it can be a fixed amount like $5 or a percentage out of the main product's price, like 5%. We're not going to do this. And the other option is to decrease the main product price when this option is selected. We're also not going to do this. This is going to be a free option. We can make it required in case users need to select the color. We're not going to do this, and we're going to save so we can see this option on the product page. We need to save again, and now let's go see that. Let's scroll down, and there we go. So choose color, text color is the label, choose a color is the tooltip, black is selected by default, choose the color for your text is the description, and I can click here to select any other color I want. And it doesn't add anything because this option is free. Now let's go back and let's go through the rest of the options. So let's keep editing this option. So in populate options is where you can create the set of options, but there are more tabs to configure them. For example, in options configuration, you can choose the type of selection. In this case, it's single, so users can only select one of the available colors, but you could allow them to select more than one. In case the options have an additional price, you can choose to make the first few selections free, like for example in the following product. There we go. So here in this pizza, we have the first 3 toppings for free. This is where the price of these options is added. Let me show you. 1 free, 2 free, 3 free, and the 4th topping is $2 because the first 3 selections are free, but then every other topping is going to be an extra $2. That's how this option works. Let's go back. We're not going to use this because we just have one color picker for one color. Then you can force users to select options within this set of options. We're not going to do this, but for the pizza, for example, you could force them to choose at least 3 toppings. And you can also sell the options individually. So they're added to the cart in a separate row, and the price is not affected by the quantity set to the main product. Then in display and style, you can set an image to show for this set of options, and you can set image replacing options. You can make sure the main product image is not replaced by the selection. You could replace it with the block image or with the options image. Let me show you an example. So here we have 2 colors to choose from, the blue and the white shirt. The white is the one we see right here, but if I choose blue, the main product image is replaced with the option image. Let's go back. Then you can choose to hide the options images. You can select the image's position. You could show this option as toggle. We're not going to do this, but you have the option. You can hide labels and prices, and you can set how many options to show per row. In this case, it's just one option, but in this case, for example, we have 2 options. You could make it 1 option per row as well, and you have 1 option here and the other one below. And you can also adjust options in a grid layout. This is useful when you have many options with text of different lengths, so you can force them into a grid. That way they will occupy the same space. And then we have conditional logic. Conditional logic is used to hide or show options based on the user's selection in other sets of options within the same block. We're going to enable this. You can also set this for specific variations in case you want to use the block on variable products. We're not going to do this, but you have this option. So what we're going to do is make sure that we only show the color picker if all of these rules match. And the rule is that the enter your custom text field, where customers are going to enter the custom text, is we have selected, not selected, empty, and not empty. We're going to choose not empty. So only if they enter text in the enter your custom text field will this color picker be shown, so they can choose the color of the text they just entered. You can create as many conditions as you want to. We're going to save this, and we're going to save again. And there we go. So we have the custom text field right here. No color picker, but as soon as I type in a letter, there we go. The color picker is displayed, so I can select the color of the text I entered here. Now let's go back. Okay, so now let's go see some of the options to configure this feature. Under general settings, you have 3 subsections. In general options, you can decide the position of the options on product pages. It can be before or after the add to cart button. You can choose what the button on WooCommerce pages will show. It can be add to cart or select options. You can make sure to replace the main product price below the title, so that's right here, with the total calculated with the selected options. Then you can hide the add to cart button until all the required options are selected. And here you can choose what to show in the total price box. You can show the product price and total options. That's what I have right now. You can show the final total but hide the options. If the value is 0, show only the final total, or simply hide the price box altogether. You can also hide titles and images of options groups and the images of single options. Here we have the upload options. These are specifically for the upload field. You can name the folder to storage the files that users upload. Here you can set the allowed file types and the maximum file size allowed. And you can also enable this option if you want to attach the uploaded files to the order emails. And here we have the date picker option to choose if the format will be a 24-hour time format. Now let's go up and let's move on to cart and order. Here you can set the options for the cart and the checkout pages. You can enable this option to show the options in the cart. This option to allow users to edit the options in the cart. Let's see that. I'm going to add this product very quickly to the cart. And let's view cart. Great, so we have this product added to the cart, the product name, and here we have all the options. We have the title of each set of options and then the options selected. And here's the option to edit them in the cart. I'm going to click here and I get this model window where I can choose a different size, color. I can change anything I want to change here. Then I can just click on update. And there we go. The options have been updated without me having to go back to the product page and select all of the options again. Let's go back. You can also show the replacement image in the cart, and you can enable this option to hide the options in the order email. Then in color and label variations, you can set the options for variations. You can choose to hide or blur the attributes after they're selected. You can enable tooltips for attributes, the tooltip position and animation, and you can choose to show the attribute description. Then in style, you can configure the style of the options. First, for all the vlogs, you can choose what type of heading to use for the titles. H1 would be the largest font size and H6 the smallest one. So you have several options to choose the perfect size for your titles. You can choose the block background here and the block padding. You can enable this to show options in toggle. If you enable this, you get an option to show them open by default or not. Let's not enable this. I'm going to save and let's go see that. Okay, as you can see, they're all closed by default, and I can click here to see the options and again to hide them like this. Let's go back. So this is the global option, but as we saw before, you also have the option to set this for each individual set of options when creating them. Then you get to choose the form style. Right now we have the custom style, so we can choose the checkbox style, which is square right now, but it can be rounded. We can select the accent color, we can select the border color, and the label and description font size. If you were to choose the theme style, then the general style for the checkboxes, radio buttons, drop-down menus, and more would be adapted to your theme. And then you have the required option color. This is simply to highlight the required options message. And this is what the message would say. This option is required. Then we have the price box style, where we can choose the color of the text and the background, the color swatches, where we can choose if they're going to be rounded or square, and the color swatch size in pixels. They're square right now, as we can see here. Let's go ahead and make them rounded and a little bit smaller. Save. And let's open the options again. There we go. They're rounded now. Back. Let's scroll down. Then you have the labels and images options, where you can choose the position of the images. You can force them to have equal heights. You can choose the label position and also the description position. So right now the image position is above the label is inside the borders, and the description is outside the borders. Like this, no description here, but we have the image above and the label below, but inside the borders. You have the padding here. You can enable tooltips, choose the colors and position. And last, we have the upload file section to set the text to show, the link for users to upload their files. We have an upload button or a browse link, and you can also set the colors. And that's it. That's how easy it is to configure the feature and create custom options for your products.
Okay, so you can configure and use this feature. See you soon in the next video tutorial.